So I'm Rachel Mitchell. For those of you, I think I bet we've got some of Carrie's team here as well as Carrie, I think, on the phone. And so welcome, guys. I'm glad you guys could come and do this. So I'll tell you guys, I did a poll with my coaches about, kind of what would help you not just get to diamond, but help you with recruiting and getting coaches started right and things like that. Like, what are your stumbling blocks? What are you not getting in the trainings? What can we do basically as your leaders to help you grow your business? Because even more so than just getting to diamond or rank advancing as a team, I know I do, and I know Carrie does too, actually. We want to teach you guys how to build a stable business. And yes, we want you to get to diamond because there's so many reasons to get to diamond. And let's see. Sorry. I don't know. Okay. I don't know what it's doing. But there are so many reasons to get to diamond, but first and foremost, we want to teach you how to build a stable business. And I know that if you were on this call, then you have goals of building an income, yes, rank advancing, but just doing something with this business more than probably just running challenge groups, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you probably want to do more than that. Maybe you want to quit a job. Maybe you want to earn enough money to take your family on vacation. Maybe it's just something that, you just want that fulfillment of hitting a goal or, helping other coaches or something like that. No matter what, we know that you have to find working coaches. You have to recruit. You've got to find people who want to work this business with you. And to do that, there's a couple things. You've got to start talking about coaching. You've got to start recruiting. You've got to start running sneak peeks, and you have to learn how to train your coaches. And so all of that, when you think about it as a whole, is pretty overwhelming. So we just kind of want to walk you through this. And my team communicated with me that they preferred this. Just a call every now and then to share some ideas, give you guys kind of some to-dos and to answer questions rather than a group. Because obviously we're all in 1,500 groups and we get all these notifications and we have all these calls and we have all these check-ins, and that's just not jabbing for you guys, which is totally cool. So this works for me. I look like I've been run over by a Mack truck, y'all. But anyways.
You look fabulous, Rachel.
My hair's all over the place.
You can only see what I look like.
Y'all, Carrie's about to pop. Please pray for her. She's in pain. It makes me sad. Okay. So I have made a bunch of notes, and you guys stop me. This is a very informal call. You guys know I could talk and talk forever. Carrie, you whenever you have something to say, just interrupt me or whatever, unmute yourself, whatever you guys want to do, because this is for you, all right? This is totally 100% for you to help you guys learn and to grow, and we want to answer your questions and help you with whatever you're struggling with. But just a little bit about my story. So, and I think mine is probably pretty similar to Carrie because we went at the same time. So when I went for Diamond, I signed up a lot of discount coaches. I got to diamond on discount coaches. And there was a large group of us. Like I said, Carrie was in that group. We were pushing for diamond. I'm pretty sure Melanie was trying to hit a goal herself. So she was really pushing us to get to diamond. And so she really encouraged us. She was teaching us along the way how to find working coaches, but she was really pushing us to get to diamond. And there's nothing wrong with that. She's a good coach and she taught us a lot. She teaches us a lot. But at the time, I feel like we were really pushed to get to diamond. And so I got to diamond pretty quickly. I think it was 4 or 5 months. And I signed it up. I got there with discount coaches. And once I got there, it was very much a house of cards. It was very much just liable to fall apart at any minute because it was just people who, I had told them to switch to coaching for the discount. And yeah, they might have loved their Shakeology, but they were not stable Shakeology drinkers. They were not, they were not working coaches. So it was very much a house of cards. And once I got to Diamond, that was great. Like there's so many benefits of getting to Diamond. Confidence, I think, is a big one. It's just kind of that first big, huge milestone. I mean, Emerald's important, but honestly, anybody can get to Emerald. Diamond means that, you're hitting Success Club, you're helping challengers get results. They like their Shakeology. They may be switching to coach for a discount, or maybe they want to work the business and help other people. No matter how you get there, you're working your business, and that's what Diamond means. And it brings that level of confidence. Income, obviously, once you get to Diamond, you start receiving bigger cycle bonuses, right? And then one of the biggest things that really drove me to get to Diamond was our Rising Stars group. It's a group of Diamond coaches that Melanie hosts, and every Wednesday we have a call at 8 o'clock, and I wanted to be in that group so bad. Like, she was always talking about the weekly calls and stuff, and I wanted to be in that group, and by golly, that group is worth it. Like that, I think Carrie would agree with me. That weekly call is like gold, right?
Yeah, it seriously is. Like, every Wednesday is like, it's by far my favorite call of the week. It's by far my favorite day of the week. And I don't walk away from those Wednesday morning calls without learning at least 3 things to go take away and do. I mean, it's just awesome. And we are very, very lucky that we get to learn from the number one coach and team in the entire network. So that was absolutely, I didn't really care about, much besides getting in that group. That was my reason for Diamond. I will say though that once you get to Diamond, you get a corporate leader, which is really cool. You actually will get a call, at least I did, from somebody from corporate. Typically you get to go in like a Diamond to 1-star mentorship group with people from your region, which is kind of cool because you get to connect with some other Diamonds, outside of the team, which is kind of cool too. So really the connections and learning was my driver for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. You guys know that, like, as you hit goals with Beachbody, they reward you, not just with things, but with recognition and things like that. So that's always fun. That's really exciting. But honestly, my personal story was and Carrie's is totally different from mine. She went the other direction. I got to Diamond and I kind of froze. Like, I really and truly froze because I went to Diamond so quickly. I mean, which a lot of people go there faster than 4 or 5 months, but I got there so quickly, like, I still wasn't even sure that I was going to stick with coaching, so in my mind, I was like, am I going to just start recruiting working coaches and be responsible for training them and, helping them hit their goals? And I don't even know if I can hit my goals. So I got really scared, to be honest. And so I kind of froze. And if you have heard my story, I stayed at Diamond for 20 months. Is that how long it was? It was 20 months. It was crazy. Part of that time I was pushing. I was trying to find coaches and help them get to Diamond too. But I stayed at Diamond for a really long time because I just didn't know what to do next. How do I talk about coaching? How do somebody says they're interested, I would just crap my pants. What do I say to them? How do I tell them I don't have a team? What am I going to tell them? So these were all thoughts and doubts that I had. And so I was really stuck for a long time. I dropped rank, I think twice. I dropped from Diamond to Emerald twice just for a week, but still, that was something I kind of said I would never do, but I did. And it's because I just wasn't recruiting. I wasn't talking about coaching. I wasn't trying to get outside my comfort zone. I was just coasting along, hitting Success Club 10, Success Club 15, running my challenge groups. And, based on the number of Success Club points, I should be a 20-star Diamond, honestly. And it's ridiculous, but I wasn't because I was afraid. And so what I want, if I could teach you guys, just go ahead and tackle that. If your goal is to build a business, if your goal is to build a team, don't wait to start recruiting. You've got to be doing it now. And so that's what we kind of want to teach you guys how to do this. You have to find working coaches. You have to train them, and you have to, if you don't hear anything else tonight, you have to identify and eliminate your limiting thoughts and beliefs, because I hear so many coaches say, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how I'll juggle it. She won't want to be a coach on my team. I've reached out to her, but nobody's responded. I don't know how to talk about coaching, or she would make a good coach, but I'm just afraid she won't commit. Or what if they say yes, and then I have to train them? I don't know how to do that. So those are all things that I thought myself, but they're all things that held me back. And once I just started doing them, you just kind of do it. Just like you started posting and inviting to challenge groups, it was awkward and fuzzy and just like messy a lot of times. But once you just started doing it and making it a habit, then you kind of got the hang of it. And now you guys, I can see everybody on this call, like just does it. Bam, bam, bam. You can post, you can invite, you can run a challenge group like nobody's business. And once you tackle coaching with that same intensity as you did when you tried to hit Success Club in the beginning, once you start tackling coaching and talking about it and inviting, it's weird and it feels awkward and you sometimes don't know what to say, but you learn it. It becomes a habit and you just kind of learn by doing, for sure. Carrie, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I just totally agree in the sense that, there's really no reason to wait. I feel like everybody in here has like big goals with the business, and as much as there are fear of unknowns, like, will I be able to teach a new coach what to do, when I'm still trying to learn myself and I still struggle to hit Success Club myself, and, how can I manage that? You both all need to know that, you have great upline support and teams, and like you're never going to be in it alone. So just know that there's really no good time to ever start recruiting and building a team. So you may as well start doing it now, because it's kind of just like, this is just kind of the business. You just learn and fail and do it all at the same time, and that's how you grow. So I would just second what Rachel said, but no, nothing else to add.
Who in here has read or listened to the Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster? Tracy, you have, haven't you? Becca? So I have a few times, and I don't absorb everything the first time, but I was listening to it yesterday, and I don't remember what chapter it's in, but in it, he talks about how, you create these habits that bring you success, you track them, all this other stuff, but he's talking about habits, and he was talking about how, when you first, you learn to drive, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I pay attention to my surroundings and keep my car on the road and use my blinker and my windshield wipers and just how am I going to do all of this at one time? And it's scary and it's awkward. But now think about you can drive down the road, probably text on your phone and talk on it and chew gum and yell at your kid all at the same time, right? So you just kind of learn how to do it, and you just create those habits, and it becomes second nature to you. And so when Becca, you said the other day in that group feed, Rachel, I don't know how you do it. It just I just do it. I just do it. I probably don't do it well 100% of the time, but I've learned to just post, to run challenge groups, to invite to coaching, to train my coaches, you just learn to do it, and you do it gradually. So it's not boom, you've got a team of 5 coaches and you're trying to help them all at one time. You kind of build on it slowly. So, before I move on, I'm going to move into talking about coaching, because I think that just in the beginning, it's hard to start posting your workout selfies and talking about challenge groups. It's really hard to start talking about coaching. But before I do you guys want to share anything or ask questions or share maybe what your biggest struggle has been up to this point, so we can kind of make sure we address those things? With my team, I think I know for each one of you, but if anybody wants to unmute and speak up, you can. No? Okay. All right. Okay. So I think you have, obviously, first you have to start talking about it, right? You can't, I have coaches who start and they're like, nobody wants to join my challenge group. And I'm like, it's because you're not posting about it, And so with coaching, if you're having trouble finding people to work, I think all of us can convert customers to coaches. And Tracy is actually going to talk about that on our call on Monday night. She's really good at that. But I think you guys have a good grasp at converting customers to coaches, right? And if you don't, if you go into your coach Coach Online Office to the training tab. Under the Emerald tab, there's a really good document in there about identifying people who make good coaches, how to approach them about that. Like, it gives you scripts and all that stuff. So there's tons of resources about that. But you've got to talk about it on social media. That is how, like, I look at, like, I was talking to Robbie Carter from Beachbody today, and he was asking me if I had most success from converting challengers to coaches. You know, do I find that I have stronger coaches who go through a challenge group first? And I was like, honestly, Robbie, mine's kind of split down the middle. You know, like, I've got Tracy and Chrissy who were challengers first, and they're both awesome coaches. But I'm looking at you guys, you're on this side of my screen. I've got Becca and Jade, who were not challengers first. They came to me about coaching because I started talking about it, and they're awesome coaches. You know, like, there's for me, I've got both sides of it. So I think he asked me, you know, what was that about? And I'm kind of glad he called me today, because it's got me thinking about all this stuff for you guys. But it wasn't until I really started talking about coaching consistently that people either, one, came to me, or I started to create stable coaches. You know, like, Christy, I can remember when you were the only person on our team calls for months at a time, and sometimes you couldn't even get on there. But at the time, I had working coaches, but I wasn't talking about it at all. Like, I wasn't talking about it on social media in a public format. I wasn't sharing what I struggled with. I wasn't sharing the successes. I wasn't shouting out challengers and other coaches. But when I started to talk about that, just like I started to talk about Shakeology and challenge groups, like, that's when I saw the traction in my business change. And so talking about it is really the first thing that you kind of have to tackle. And so on this other call I was in, this coach had a really good suggestion. She creates she has her own, like, closed private Facebook group. It's just for her. She's the only person in it. And when she comes up with something that she wants to post about as far as coaching, like, she'll create the post in that group. And so when she knows she needs to make a coaching post, she'll go to that group, she'll copy it, and she'll paste it with a picture onto her social media page. And I thought that was a really good idea. It's just like using Evernote or something like that. But, you know, she's got all those coaching posts in that group. And so all she has to do is go in there and pull one. And that's the thing, like, for me, like, I have to have silence. Like, if I'm going to make a knockout killer coaching post, like, I have to have silence. I have to have 30 minutes to think it out and to write it out. And so, like, a lot of times I'm, like, making notes in my phone or, like, voice memo or something. But what I want to challenge you guys to do, like, tonight or tomorrow, whenever it is sit down. Like, what could you talk about as far as coaching? And I've got this whole list. Like, I mean, one thing, you have to make it fun. Like, I mean, it's not always fun, but you got to look like you're having fun sometimes, you know? I remember when I would first start posting my workouts, and I always kind of looked like I was in pain, or, like, I always talked about how hard it was to get up. And I was like, Rachel, you don't ever look like you're having fun. Why would anybody want to join you? It's kind of the same thing with coaching. Yes, you need to post about the struggles, the things that you have to sacrifice, the things that you have to give up. But it should be appealing in some way, right? But definitely, like, make a list of just ask yourself, what do I get from coaching? Like, why do I do it? It could be income. That's a big one. It could be friendships. It could be freedom. Maybe coaching allows you to stay home, or it gives you freedom in your spending or how you spend time with your family. Confidence. That's a big one. You know, I didn't have confidence right away. It actually took a long time, but I have way more confidence today than I did 3 years ago. And it's because of coaching. Maybe it's the recognition. You know, I was going to do a post today about my recognition shirts, but I never got around to it. You know, maybe it's trips, maybe it's travel. You know, you guys that have registered for the Riviera Maya trip, or maybe you're going to Punta Cana or something, you know, like, that's huge. People give their right arm for that. Maybe coaching allows you to give back in some way. Maybe you can give more to a charity or to your church or to the dog shelter or something like that because of your weekly income. Maybe coaching is just a platform for something else. Like, you enjoy coaching, but it allows you to talk about your faith, or it allows you to talk about, like I said, your interest in animals, or, you know, whatever it is. Like, what does coaching do for you? Sit down, make out a list, and that's what you post about. So for me personally, you know, like, I'm recruiting 2 months of 2 weeks of the month to a challenge group, and then the other 2 weeks I'm recruiting to coaching. So I'm always in coaching mode, obviously, and I try to work the word coach into my posts all month long. But when I'm really in those 2 weeks of recruiting, coach to coaching, I aim to make at least one like solid coach post a day. It could be that, like I took my husband out to eat dinner on a date and I was able to pay for it because of my check. It could be that, like I get to go to LA, those are two totally like, one's big and one's small. It doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to be making thousands of dollars to talk about coaching. Maybe, yeah. Did you say something, Carrie? Okay. Maybe you like pay for your groceries and you snap a picture of your trunk full of groceries and you talk about how maybe before you would have had to put it on a credit card or you weren't sure where the money's coming from. It doesn't have to be huge, but you do have to definitely talk about it. And so like coming up with a list, and like I do this myself. I still do this. Like I have to do it. I actually plan out my post for coaching because I do it for challenge groups too, but coaching is a little more challenging. And I don't ever want to sound like salesy or like I'm just recruiting people for like, I always use them as an example, and I'm sorry, but Rodan and Fields, like, everybody uses the same stock image. Everybody uses the same wording. Everybody actually writes the same thing. Everybody has the same image on payday. They post that picture that it's payday and they all have the same image. And I'm like, I don't get it. But anyways, I want my coaching posts to be genuine. I want them to be me because I want to recruit people like me. And so I actually schedule out my posts for coaching. And this is my calendar. And I have done it for this week. Today, I was supposed to do my rank advancement shirt pick, but I did that live video instead. Tomorrow, I'm going to address like social media. People who tell me all the time, I could never post on social media like you do. I couldn't do that. I couldn't, that's just not me. Well, it wasn't me either when I started coaching, but I do it now because it helps me hit my goals and it helps me help other people. So I'm going to do a post about that. Let's see. Saturday, some members of my team are coming over to eat dinner. I can post about that. Next week, let's see, I have one written down to talk about time management, so I sit down and I like write out what I want to talk about, what I want to post about. And obviously next week I get to go on that trip, so I wouldn't even have to wonder about what to talk about. But talking about coaching is just so important. And, if you've ever watched that recruiting video by Jen Guthrie, she gives the tip to try to work the word coach she says she tries to work the word coach into every single post she does, which that's not me. Like I can't post about, I don't know. I just can't do that. But I do try to use the word like once a day or at least every other day. And so talking about it is big. And some other things, like just some ideas, like shout out your challengers. Shout out when you do Transformation Tuesday, you can totally work into it like what you get out of coaching, that you were able to help this person, to connect with this person. And so I would definitely challenge you guys to make out a list. And Carrie, have you shared that call with your team, Jen Guthrie's?
I did, but it was probably like quite a few months ago. It's definitely worth sharing. It's one of my saved ones for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one just to kind of get you outside your comfort zone and get you thinking, like get your brain turning. And by the same token, like I really don't ever want to make coaching look easy, because I don't want people who come into it think it's going to be easy to make a buck. And then when they get in here, they quit because it's kind of hard, actually. Like, there are lots of parts of it that are really hard. So by the same token, like I talk about the hard stuff. Just like I address Shakeology objections or address price objections in my posts when I'm recruiting challengers, like I address those coaching objections. Time, cost, confidence. I don't have the confidence. I couldn't do what you do. The hard work that it takes. Like in that live video today, I talked about the fact that I give up certain things in order to be a coach. Like I give up TV. I'm here on this call instead of, watching This Is Us, it's recorded. But you have to give up some things. There are trainings, like, we do have our coach basics training. It's something to check into. It's work. There are assignments, you're not at your goal weight. How often do you hear that when you invite somebody to coaching? I'm not at my goal weight. I could not lead anybody because I'm not where I want to be yet. You know, like highlight another coach who started who wasn't at their goal weight. I didn't look the way I wanted to when I started. I still don't look the way I want to, but I still, you know, am able to coach and inspire people and work on me. People who say, like I said, I'm going to make that post about social media. People who say they couldn't post on social media. I never posted on social media before I became a coach. Like I had probably 150, 160 friends on social media. I was not like a killer coach coming into this, but you have to start somewhere. So, you know, address those objections when you're talking about coaching. Share your story and address those objections that way. Let's see. You guys have any questions or thoughts on that while I kind of see where I want to go next? Let's see. Is this helping? Is this giving you guys ideas? Okay. Let's see. Definitely, I would definitely craft out some posts. And, you know, like, okay, so I can remember telling a lot of you guys this as new coaches, like when you're inviting to challenge groups, like I would say, like, you know, sit down and like pump yourself up, like do jumping jacks or something and get excited about it, you know, before you sit down and invite people. Listen to personal development before you do a coaching post. Listen to personal development before you invite that challenger to your coaching sneak peek, you know, because that really kind of gets your brain on the right track. And I mean, the entrepreneurial roller coaster is a good one. Like if you don't have that one, if you've never read it, I listen to it all the time. Literally all the time. You know, that's a really good one. What's another good one, Carrie? You're like the PD queen.
Talking about personal development books?
Yeah.
Well, my new favorite is Get Over Your Damn Self.
Okay.
Which is written by one of like the very, very top leaders within Roden & Fields. So you do have to kind of take it with a grain of salt because like Rachel said, legitimately just today I got 2 messages from Roden & Fields people and they were the exact same script and I just had to laugh at it. But so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, but she is really great about talking about even recruiting and adding to your team and inviting people and stuff. So it's probably the best book that I've read on network marketing so far. But otherwise, Entrepreneur Roller Coaster is like my all-time favorite for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And it does. It totally pumps you up. Literally, every time I go to do a power hour, I always sit down and I do like 15 to 20 minutes of personal development first. Because that is like what drives me to just have the confidence to just invite people and ask people to join sneak peeks and tell them they'd make a great coach. So for sure, I would do that.
Another one, you guys have probably heard this,
Yes.
Have probably even read it, but the energy bus, look, Tracy did my little thing. I keep it right here in front of me. The energy bus is a much simpler, look, we have our little thing. She made them for me. But it's very simple, very easy read. Who's read the energy bus? Anybody? That book is really good. It's so simple, but it's based on the 10 rules. Look, there's Jade. It's based on the 10 rules for the ride of your life. And it's basically saying, you know, like you're the driver of your bus. You know, you decide who gets on, who gets off. You know, you got to have positive energy. You know, don't waste your energy on people who don't want to get on your bus. Holy crap, I did that for like a whole year. I wasted so much time and energy trying to recruit the people that I thought would make good coaches. They resisted me every step of the way, and I probably literally wasted a year of my coaching life on those people who were not coming with me. And, you know, like that's part of my story. I shared this at that Pittsburgh Super Saturday. Like I drug people along with me, you know, for a whole year, and they were not supposed to be on my team. Not that they couldn't have been a good coach, not that, you know, like I'm still friends with a lot of them. But they were not supposed to be on my team. And I tried to force them to be on my team, and that does not work. And I love the point about enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during your ride. And that's what I was just talking about. Like, be excited about what you do. When you talk about coaching, like use bold Use all caps for some words. Get excited and let people see your energy, even through the things that you write, or maybe like the picture that you put up or something like that. Let me see this chat bar. It's an easy listen to. It is definitely an easy one to listen to. Excuse me. And like confidence, I hear a lot of coaches say, I'm not confident enough in my ability to lead. I'm not confident in my, in myself to build a team or to lead someone. That comes later, honestly. The confidence comes after you do the work. For most people, it did for me. So don't wait until you have the confidence. You gain that confidence as you grow. I'm trying to figure out where I got to. Let's see. All right. So those are some ideas on how to start talking about coaching. And seriously, like every day in some way, big or small, funny or serious, like I try to talk about coaching. And so that's just kind of my strategy, and it works for me. And, like I definitely talk about, that's the next thing. That's where I want to go to. Who do you want to be a coach on your team? Like I said, you want somebody who's going to work, right? You don't want somebody who's going to come in and somebody who's going to be like messaging you like 30 times a day. Like, I'm not sure if I can do this, or how do I do this, or how do I do that? Like we have Coach Basics, we have Coach. You want self-starters, or I do personally. You want people who are going to, yes, I love to teach my team. I love to guide them. I don't mind questions at all. But if it's somebody that's like constantly coming to me with excuses, or, I can't do this, I can't do that, or she won't listen to me, or nobody will message me back, like we address all that stuff in Coach Basics, right? And so like, that's what that's for. I want people who are going to come in, who see the vision of what coaching is and what it's like to be on my team, and who want to come and do it alongside me. Yes, my job is to train them, to teach them, to guide them. But this is each one of us. There's 6, 7, 8 people. There are 8 businesses on this call. It's not my business. It's not Carrie's business. There are 8 individual businesses on this call. And so like, I want people who are going to come in and want to run their own business with my leadership, right? So like, you've got to figure out what type of coach that you want to attract. And you do this, you communicate that through your posts and through your wording, right? The sneak peek is a big part of it, how you talk there, what you share there. But even before that, like what you're saying in your just day-to-day posts about coaching, what you're saying in your challenge groups about coaching is a big part of it. And that's a shift that I have definitely made in the last 6 months, is to, reference coaching in my challenge groups. I don't say join my team in my challenge groups. I don't put out my event page for my sneak peek in my challenge groups, but I talk about coaching all the time in my challenge groups. Like if I do a check-in, or if they pray for me when I'm sick or something like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I did not have this support system before I was a coach, and so like I talk about it all the time. Another good way to find good coaches is to issue little challenges in your challenge group. I challenge them. One good one I did was a pop-up challenge, and I encourage my challengers to, I think I shared this in our training group. I encourage them to share their journey, share what they had committed to in our challenge group on social media. And everybody that did it, I put their name in a pot for a prize. The people that do that are people who would make good coaches. They've got the quality, the materials to make good coaches. Another coach that I follow, one thing she does is that during prep week, she will offer to do a Zoom call to help her challengers with meal planning. And she knows that if somebody's going to show up for this Zoom call, like if they're going to take time to get on this Zoom call and participate, then they probably have the good makings of a coach. So that's just like an early indicator for her, that those people would make good coaches. I don't personally always have time to do a Zoom call like that. I might record one and share it with them or something, but it's a really good idea if you have the time. And I'll probably do more of that like in the summertime. But figure out who you want on your team. And, like, do you have a vision for your team? That was one thing that took me a long time to do. Like, do you have a vision, a purpose? Like, where do you want your team to go? Like, who do you want your team to serve? What do you have a team name? Do you have like a team mission statement? I know that all seems very overwhelming, but the sooner you kind of have that nailed down, you know what type of person that you are trying to attract. And then just like you pitch to your niche for a challenger, you pitch to your niche for coaching as well. Okay. So obviously, like I tend to, I don't know, I have people all across the board. I can't say that our team is like really like one type of person. We really have all different types of people, but the people that are here on this call are definitely motivated. They're hardworking, like on my team members, like you don't just coach to make a buck. Like you have a passion, like you have a purpose. Coaching fulfills some purpose for you. And so those are the types of things that you talk about, and you pitch your niche that way for sure. Let's see. Carrie, how do you do that? You're really good at talking about coaching.
How do I pitch to my niche?
Yeah.
I as well got very tired of dragging people because I, for some reason, would make coaching seem like, oh, you can do it, in only a half hour a day. And I ended up just recruiting a lot of people that were just mediocre, and just were not part of my tribe. That were not, I don't know, just weren't a good fit for the team. So I just really started talking about like, you guys, I work hard, but the benefits are so great. And I say it over and over and over again on my social media. I repeat it all the time. Like, I worked hard for this, but you know what? I'm 9 months pregnant and I get to stay home with my daughter. Like, that was the biggest driver for me, So I just make sure that I talk to people and tell them the truth. Like Rachel said, like, you have to make it sound fun and appealing, which it is. I mean, I'm so passionate about this business and I love it. I literally cannot imagine my life without coaching. And I'm serious about that. And I tell people that on my social media, but at the same time, I let people know we work hard too. And I am a like type A personality. I, am not afraid to do this business and put myself out there, and I'm confident and all that. So that's really helped kind of attract more people that are in my tribe. But what I will say, you guys, is this will be the only one thing that I'll say because I can barely talk and breathe. But I did a whole year in this business where I did everything right. And I did a whole year where I did everything wrong. And I will tell you, the first year when I went 5-star elite in my first year was obviously the year I did everything right. And basically I was fearless. I wanted to make it work so bad that I would just invite people. I wasn't afraid to reach out. I started connect, like just messages with everybody, and I would talk about coaching. And that's when I recruited coaches, and I was able to kind of advance my business to a point where, I was able to get to 5-star elite. I was able to leave my job. But then what happened is, because I had already kind of hit this big goal of mine, I kind of got lazy, to be honest. And I thought, oh, well, since I'm a higher rank, like, people are just going to come to me now and it's going to be so much easier. And that was just not the case. So basically my whole second year, I really was not focusing on the right things, which is inviting and, doing all the basic vital behaviors. So what I will tell you guys in this 2-year process that has been a huge, huge learning for me is that you will recruit people if you are consistent with 3 things. 1, sharing publicly on your social media about coaching consistently every day. And honestly, it doesn't have to be that crazy. So I used to think it was really tough to make social media posts, and I still do. If I make a coaching post, it takes me like 20 minutes to write. But I use Evernote and I save every single coaching post I've ever made. And I literally, if I just don't feel like I can create a post, I will just go in and I will either copy and paste a post that I used 3 or 4 months ago, or I'll just tweak it a little bit to where Just a few words are different. Because remember, you guys, people are not on social media all the time. They don't always see your posts. And it takes somebody like 5 to 9 times to even register in their brain. So you want to use the same post over and over and over again, just maybe tweak it a little bit. Okay. So consistency in posting on social media. Number 2 is consistency in inviting. So you want to match your public with your private, right? So make sure that you guys are inviting. And I just sent that Jen Guthrie recruiting video to my 2 ladies on this call. But like she says in that video, if you guys watch it, like just invite everybody like that you think would be an awesome coach. Like don't have any fear. Just send them a message. And it doesn't need to be some like long invite like a Roden and Fields person. It can just be as simple as like, hey, I was thinking about you today. I know that we haven't even chatted in a few months. And I know you've never even been in a challenge group, but honestly, I cannot get you off my mind. Like you would make such an awesome coach. Here's why, maybe a sentence or 2. Would you have any interest in learning more? I just had to ask, you know, it can be so simple like that. So that would be the second thing. Can you guys tell I'm like totally out of breath? It's crazy. Woo! Being pregnant. Oh my gosh. So that's the second thing, consistency in inviting. And then the third, which is a huge, huge learning thing for me this past year, is follow-up. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how many times I've kicked myself in the last year because I've had like somebody that I just was like, they would make an awesome coach. And one, I like invited him to a sneak peek like months ago. They joined it, and I never really followed up with them. And then, like, sure enough, now they're like a Roden and Fields rep, or they're Avocare, or Isogenics, or they've signed up as a Beachbody coach with another team. And honestly, if I had just spent the time and I made a list of people that I was inviting to sneak peeks, and I just continued to follow up with them every single month or every other month, I probably would have a much, much larger team than I do now. So those are my 3 things. Consistency in your public social media posts. Don't overcomplicate it, you guys. Just make it simple. Reuse posts. Number 2, inviting. And 3, make sure you follow up with people over and over and over again. Because I will tell you, a lot of the coaches that I do have, they didn't say yes right away. So just make sure to keep following up. So that's it. I'm going to go breathe now.
That's hard. Okay, so the last thing, like there's so much more we can talk about, and we will do it on another call. But the last thing I want to, since we are like at the middle of the month, right? Yeah, it's the middle of the month. Are you running a sneak peek? People ask me all the time, why was 2016 different than 2015? I decided in January of 2016 that, you know, if I was obviously going to make this business work, I was going to have to find people to work with me. You know, yeah, hitting Success Club and running challenge groups was great. I was earning money. But it was, you know, it honestly too, I was getting a little bit bored. And I kind of needed the challenge as well. So I had to decide, like, am I going to just kind of back off coaching and just let it go? Or am I going to push forward and actually grow a team? And one of the things I was not doing in 2015 was running my own sneak peek. So in 2016, I committed to doing a sneak peek every single month, like by myself or with my team, later with my team. And I had been relying on my coach for far too long. And so I was inviting people to her sneak peeks, and they were seeing Melanie. They weren't seeing Rachel. They didn't know what it was going to be like to be on Rachel's team, to be led by Rachel, to, you know, just to be with me. And like whenever I invited people to coaching, they didn't want to hear from Melanie. They wanted to hear from me. And so like that was a big thing that held me back too. So I committed to running a sneak peek. And, you know, like if you're my coach, I've definitely encouraged you to do the same thing. You know, like if you're not comfortable doing it all on your own, which most of you guys have at this point, but, you know, like team up with somebody else and do one together. Or, you know, like one month we did that Facebook group where all like 5 or 6 of us went live at different times. You know, it was messy, but, you know, like it got us all involved and people could see what our team was like, right? And so running a sneak peek. And so I don't love event pages. I'll be honest. They're just not my favorite thing. But they are a useful tool. So the first thing that you can do is to create an event page. And I know that you guys all know how to do this. So I'm not going to walk you through how to do that. But this is one I created today because I'm going to do a sneak peek 2 weeks from today. I chose to wait until I got back from my trip because I thought that might be more effective. But I create it and use it just like I do one for a challenge group. And, like I come up with a theme most months. I was messaging Carrie today, like, what am I going to call it? I don't know why I stress about it so much. And I'm still not like really happy with it, but it gets the job done, right? And I want people to, this month, like I kind of want the focus to be on the fact that like you can come and you can ask me anything that you want to ask me about coaching. Like you can ask me about how much time I commit to it. What do I make? How much money do I make? Obviously I'm not going to do this publicly, but like come and ask me anything. Do I have to, stay up late? Do I get up early? Like, ask me whatever you want to. And so that's kind of the focus of mine. And so I just created an event page. And I, wrote out this description of it. Like, I've told my coaches, you can read mine and make it your own, whatever you want to do. And then I'll just start inviting. And so every day I'm going to post at least one post into this event page. And I love this thing that Melanie shared with us not that long ago. It's kind of like this wheel. It's called Putting Your Goals into Actions, and it's in our team page in the file section. But basically you just write what your goal is, and then you break that goal down into little actions, right? And so my goal this month is to recruit 4 new coaches. And so I know that in order to do that, I'm going to have to post. I'm going to have to talk about coaching. I'm going to have to talk about my team. And so I just use these little wheel things, and I just wrote in them. Like, I want to talk about investing in others. I'm going to talk about recognition. I'm going to talk about LA. I'm going to talk about time management and income, the freedom that coaching and the income provides me. Anyways, and so on and so on. And so that's kind of taking my goal and putting it into action. And so I have this list of things that I can talk about, that I can post about in this event page, and I'll do that at least once a day. I'll probably go live in here a couple of times during the next 2 weeks. And it's just a way for people to follow me, to learn, even before that sneak peek rolls around, what I do as a coach and why they might want to be a part of my team. And so I will invite people, just like I do to a challenge group. I'll use the invite button. I'll share the link. I'll write a blog post. I'll put it in there. I'll connect it to Instagram. I'll do all the same things that I do for challenge groups. And so that is what I'm doing this month. So I encourage you guys, run a sneak peek. Create an event and run a sneak peek and invite people to it. Invite everybody that's in your challenge group. Go back through and reconnect with people who were interested in coaching before, but maybe didn't commit. Don't be afraid to follow up and to invite people to that. Because like Carrie said, I know I've lost people. I've lost people because I was too afraid to invite. Allison Coleman is a coach on our team, and she, God was just looking out for me this one, but she invited me to her Pampered Chef party, and I was like, girl, are you selling Pampered Chef? Because I've been thinking about her, inviting her to coaching for a long time. She had the best personality, and, anyway, so finally she invited me to that, and she was like, yeah, I think I'm going to start selling it now. And I was like, no, wait, I wanted to invite you to coaching. And she was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I've been watching you and want to do that, but I never had the nerve to ask you. And she's at Success Club 10 this month, So she almost slipped through my fingers, and you would be surprised at how many people love it if you just ask them to be a coach on your team. They are so flattered. And for me, the panic would always say then when they said yes, or when they actually joined my team, what do I do with them now? But I still get that way a little bit, but that's what we're here for. We'll teach you how to train them. They can go through our coach universities until you start running your own. But you've got to ask, you've got to invite people to come and to listen. And I will tell you, I ran multiple sneak peeks where nobody showed up, not a single person. And I would do it anyways. I would go through that whole sneak peek. I have a slideshow that I do that I love, and that's kind of my favorite way to do it, on a Zoom call. And I would record it, and I would upload it to YouTube, and I would post it in that sneak peek, just like there were tons of people waiting for me to do that. Okay. And so I did that multiple times before people actually really started to show up, but I committed to it. And last year, by golly, I ran 12 sneak peeks, and my business grew. I was probably making $700 a month the year before, and now I make almost $4,000 a month. Okay. And that's just because I started recruiting. And I did it consistently. I did it even when people said no. I ran sneak peeks that nobody showed up to, and I just did it. And that's kind of, again, I didn't have the confidence when I started, but I'm way more confident now a year later than I was when I started a year ago. And that's definitely how my business has grown. So do you guys have questions for me or Carrie about sneak peeks or anything? Or do you have somebody you want to invite, but you don't know how to do it?
Don't you have a like a template for what you post every day in a sneak peek?
Yeah, I have a guide, just like, it's a 5-day one. It should be in our team page, but if it's not, I'll make sure. It may not be. I know Christy has it.
Yeah, and Nicole and I did a 3-day last time, and
I don't do 5 days anymore.
Yeah, we looked at both teams, that you guys have done in the past, and just kind of pulled in what made sense. And we did, I think, a video each day, and we asked a couple of you guys to jump in, and it went well.
It was good. Like, I was in there. Y'all had some really good posts too that you supplemented with.
I know Becca and I did that one together, but I ended up on a work trip and bailed on her. Sorry, Becca.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, so I'm just sharing what I did. I sat down. I have this little, I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's like the most simple planner. Like, I'll have at least 4 planners by the end of 2017. That's just my style. I can't. But anyways, like, this one is so simple. I could never use it for anything except like one thing. And so earlier today, Nicole and I were talking, and we just, she was talking about make a list. And so I started making the list, and while we were sitting here with some things you said, I just went through and wrote, like you said, in your calendar. And I've got this. It's so thin. I'm just going to carry this with me, and it's going to be my coach posting planner. Like, it's just going to be dedicated to that. And because I won't get caught up in I've got my challenge grew down, right? We talked about that in our workout. So we'll see how it goes, because I won't, like, if I catch myself not opening it, like, then I'm hiding from it, right? So I'm going to have to open it and go for it. And so it's been very helpful just for that, like, just to sit down and with that in front of me while you are talking.
Yeah. And one thing that I kind of struggled with early on was like continuing to like focus on recruiting challengers and pouring into them in my challenge groups while I was kind of adjusting to working coaching into all that. So be sure you don't neglect your challengers, and don't neglect like just Success Club as you do this. Recruiting to coaching definitely comes after you hit Success Club, which, most of you guys are pretty good at. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, we'll schedule another call, and next time we'll talk about like how to find people, like using social media, how to find people, and how to get coaches started right. And we'll kind of go from there. But in the meantime, like, Carrie, your coach, you're about to go have a baby and be out of commission maybe for a little bit. If you're on her team, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to somebody on our team. Like, I'm happy to help you while she's out, to answer questions. But until the next call, and then we'll do another call like this. We're not going to have a group and check-ins and all that stuff, but you guys know where we're at if you have questions. But definitely just make your list, start posting, start getting bolder, and I promise that you'll see a difference. Like, Jade, I'll never forget you calling me, or you coming to me. I was talking on the phone that first time, and I was like, whoa, she asked me to be a coach on my team, and it was just because, I didn't do anything profound. Like, I just started talking about it. So it definitely pays off, And so that's it. That's all I got.
Good chatting with you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. All right, good night.
Good night.